Hello, I'm Hotep and welcome to this latest transmission of the Egyptian Magic podcast. I'm Mog Morgan, companion of Set and Knight of Shambhala. Please do leave feedback and queries either here or finding me on the usual social media channels as Twitter and Facebook. And do check out my several books on Egyptian magic and its connections, which usually crop up one way or another in these talks. So today I'm going to do something slightly different in kind of an interview with Lee Chan-Lin or Marina, who is a shamanic practitioner visiting from Taiwan. She has an interest in magic and of course Egypt. Her interview or her talk is in two parts. In this part she talks about her journey into the desert of Egypt mainly and her experiences there, which I think you'll find kind of mirrors the Egyptian Underworld Journey. She actually went to a place called Siwa in Egypt, and next time I'll play the second part of the interview in which we talk briefly about why Siwa is such an important place in Egypt, but in the history of Western culture and within the magical tradition, really. Anyway, here is Lee Chan-Lin, or Marina.
So, being a traveler, it's really different. It's like you are shading, like you have these skins that you thought who you are, what made you, all these kind of things starts to fade away, and you become someone who has no identity, and you're nobody, and then the world just open up to you, and it's really magical. Like you're kind of like, you became naked and you walk into the world and the world shows itself to you. And I was it was really powerful. I was depressed, I guess. I left my job and I started traveling, and I wasn't very, I would say, stable emotionally, or even like there's just moments that I'm not very together, I would say, but I still decided to go on traveling. I wanted to see the world. I wanted to experience things, and being on the road for long enough time, you end up it's like a whole reset. You became like a animal. This whole animal instinct kicks in, and then I remember I was in a state where I was extremely sensitive to everything, and there was just this necessity, a calling that I can't be with. I don't want to go to tourist site. I don't want to party. I don't want to be with people. I don't even want to be in civilization. I wanted to go into, it's a strong call that I wanted to go into the wilderness. And it was just, I remember during that time I would wake up in the morning and I would put my hands in the air and I would sense where I should go to that day. It's like, and then like when I felt, and then I would sense like this way, and then I would just go there. Like I cannot, there's no guidebook or maps that can direct me anymore. And it's a very primal instinct kind of thing, and I wanted to go into the wilderness, but it wasn't a pleasant thing to do. I was struggling a lot with my my borderline madness almost. Like I would have those visions and dreams and tears. Like these dreams will guide me to go where I needed to go. And I will follow them. And sometimes tears will come. And they're so real. Like I would just very random things. It could be a conversation with someone or a random something, image or anything. And sometimes it will trigger something very deep in me, and then the tears will come. And these are the two things that I followed into the desert. My dreams and my tears. And it wasn't pleasant. It was not pleasant at all. It was full of fear. I remember I have these suicidal minds. Like I wish for destruction. I wish for I just wanted to, I don't know, some kind of ultimate disperse of some sort. I don't know how to call it. It's a very intense calling. There's a lot of fear. I remember I was going into the desert, and I know I'm going, and I had to go, but I was so fearful. And it was like dying is not scary at all. Like you die and then you die. There's nothing scary about dying, but all the fear that comes up before dying, it all surfaced. And I remember when I was in one of these oases near the White Desert. There's a very famous oasis called Siwa. Yeah, I remember there some black magic happening there. Like there's some magical stuff there, but I was there and I was staying in a hostel. I remember the staff were checking on me because I really probably felt I was probably acting weird, or they were worried about me. They were trying to keep an eye on me, something might happen to me. I don't know how I look from the outside, but I was just, I couldn't hold myself together anymore. I was at the verge of, I don't know, I just, the whole world was going to collapse. And there was just I needed to do something. I wanted to go into the desert. There's really any rational reason why. And it was different phases. It wasn't one go. And there were moments when I remember there were several parts that I will still remember. There's one experience when I was in Wadi Rum, this magnificent, majestic desert in Jordan where they filmed the Indiana Jones. I cried when I arrived there, and I remember I was taken by these Bedouin people. They took me with them back to their home, and then they took care of me. And then I remember they light these candles in their camp, and I was drawing. And it was just so powerful, just the silence and the desert. And wow, these memories coming back. And I remember, and because I had no money when I was traveling, and so one of the things I did was, I was also very touchy. I needed to feel. I needed to touch people's bodies. So I offered people massage in exchange for money and food, and that's how I traveled. And I even offered my massage to one of these Bedouin people, and I remember touching. I was so brave. I was really like I wasn't afraid, and I remember I was giving massage to this guy, Bedouin guy, and I really felt like I went into his body, and I felt what it feels like being in his body, and it was epic. Like it was almost like a theater going on inside of me, and then I scanned into his life and his connection with his land and his ancestry. It's almost like I read him, not just his physical body, but his history, and with the land that he came from. And somehow I was amazed. Like time, they experience time very differently than us. Time doesn't flow in the desert. It's the same for thousands and thousands of years. Even now, like in the city, like time flows really quickly, right? All these, so many happenings, like da all the time. But in the desert, it's just, time doesn't flow. It's like a capsule. And they still have that capsule. Time, just like time just stops. Time doesn't flow. And there's wisdom in that. Because mind stopped. So they can access a lot of things. And it's so magnificent because you feel so content and so full every second in that timeless space in the body. I learned that from them. That was really something. The desert is so powerful. And then in Egypt, the desert, I went into the desert. I remember this experience, that the silence. I mean, you need to imagine this. Like, most people probably never had this experience, because from the moment that you were born till now, you probably always have some sound around you, right? Even if you go into the mountains or you dive into the ocean, you still hear sounds. But in the desert, there's nothing. There's no sound at all. Just the sand, the fire, and the moon. And it's so powerful. There's nowhere you can escape. Like this inner space, whatever that's inside of you, just keep on coming out. And I feel like I was, and I was like in this, on the verge of madness almost when I was going to the desert. But it's a profound magical experience, because at the same time I felt the mystery of the universe revealed in front of my eyes in that process. But at the same time, I felt I descended to a dark underworld, the land of dead, and there I died again and again, and I felt I was being torn apart into pieces, and I died 100 times, and I faced my deepest fear, And it's not just one time, because your deepest fear is so clever. It manifests in so many different scenarios again and again and again. And so you're like, you're facing all these like fear, your deepest fear. And what's really interesting was that once you encounter your deepest fear, it goes away. It went away, and it went away. And I felt I was devoured by the heaven and the earth. I don't know. And I collapsed completely, disintegrated into, I don't know, maybe I surrendered, I don't know. I was eaten alive, like completely. It was so scary. Like I was so sure I was going to die, and I was like, I accept my destiny. It's okay if I don't come back. I was like, I can't hold this together anymore. I cannot live in this reality anymore, almost. And it's almost like I was a broken machine, computer, and I feel like I've been like upgraded. like you know, like these computer software, like you have to upgrade them once in a while, and that's exactly what I felt like. My if I were a computer, I probably changed my entire operation system.
But you did come back. So from that death, you came back.
I did. And there was some, very vaguely, but I remember I was telepathically able to communicate with people, like these, these Bedouins. Mm-hmm. I don't speak their language. I don't remember how. I don't even have proof, but I felt like I was talking to them. And what's really interesting about telepathy is that, you cannot lie with telepathy, because you're just in each other's heads, kind of.
You can lie, or you can't lie?
You cannot lie in telepathy. You cannot. There's no way that you can lie in telepathy. Well, because language is the language for the mind, for intellect, right? But the language for the soul, it's a dream. It's like an image. It's like sometimes symbols or just like direct knowing. Like you just feel what it feels like in another person's body. That happened but I think that happened also because of the nothingness and the no timeness in the desert. So your brain, your rational brain stopped, and that happened. I still get that very vaguely, like a minor version of that, when I do my Chinese tea ceremony. Like when you engage in all of your senses and you try to stretch that fabric of time and you expand, and it's so simple. It's just tea, and you're smelling the tea, you're taking in the tea, but you're scanning yourself, and you're scanning the space, you're feeling into everything, and you're feeling into the person in front of you, and there's so much learning and communication, and it's not for the intellect, but there's an intelligence that's behind all of this. And then I also somehow I realized not many people can access this, I guess. I don't know. because we're all too smart.
We're too smart.
Yeah, we are living in this age, and we're trying to be smarter. We're trying to outsmart other people. We try to learn more. We try to ingest more knowledge. But that's just like
or maybe we don't know. See, there's an amazing account of it. You don't know how we're supposed to approach it, which is kind of, you're showing that that metaphor of the desert, or the real desert. That's something we need to kind of to bring to mind. Really, that's what we can learn from somewhere like Egypt or whatever. Because your experience, it sounds so like the kind of stuff that you read in the Egyptian texts themselves about the underworld and the underworld journey and dying and being eaten, and the desert as representing everything to the Egyptians, that represented all of that to them, the underworld and the kind of place out there. So maybe that's what I would learn from that. That's how. But we don't think about those things anymore. We need travellers. You need travellers to go to these kind of regions and bring back the stories and say, this is what you're supposed to be doing with your head in some ways.
But I didn't ask for this. I didn't.
You
do
didn't
this
ask for it
actively. But it happened, and I remember when I was going into the desert, I was praying to be stupid, because I have this, my mind was going insane, all these things just going too fast, too rapidly, and I was I want to, I was praying to be stupid.
You were praying to be what?
To be stupid.
Praying to be stupid.
It was I remember that, because it was all these mind were just too much, and
because the bit of the brain that does all the clever stuff is kind of gets in the way sometimes. We overthink things, especially people who are kind of clever, intelligent. That's the modern dilemma, I would think, is the fact that we have sort of part of our brain that is a little bit mutated. That kind of thinks about things, and it becomes an obstacle in the end. We can't stop analysing and just go into the experience and see what it can't be in the experience anymore. We always have to be standing back analysing it. I think that's from my opinion, that's the modern dilemma. That's what makes everybody's relationships and everything go wrong, is when they kind of keep thinking about it all the time.
Of course, I'm trying to find explanations for what I experienced in the desert.
That's right. So you're always trying to find an explanation.
Yeah.
That's the modern way. That's the human way. You have to find an explanation, rather than just be grateful that you had this kind of unique experience, which all of us want to kind of, part of us, that's what we're waiting for.
Yeah, we want to label it.
We want to label it, but we want this experience. We all kind of think secretly somewhere there's this journey that we're going to go on. So it's a hugely powerful metaphor. We'll go on this journey to find ourselves, or where you put it, and something special happens on the journey. But most people, it just doesn't really. Or we don't, because we probably don't want it to too much. It
was scary. It was really scary.
Yes, you say it's too much.
It's not something that I wanted. It was scary, but it was. I am just forever grateful for the desert. It taught me so much, and saved my soul. Otherwise, I don't know where I will be. I'll probably end up in a mental institution. I don't know. It was really, well, that's how I felt, because I was, I don't know. It's just all these madness. But then coming back to civilization, I see, wow, you know, I was probably trying to heal myself through my madness, and now I come back to this normal world, and I see so many crazy, just madness, and we take it as granted. We think it's normal.
No, that's good. Leave it there for now. That's an amazing account.